Salutations readers, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nkechi, and for today we're going to talk about my goals, plans, and series TBR for 2025. Yep, finally time to talk about some goals. Actually, almost all my goals, my TBR, some plans, also some changes to the channel possibly. But you know, things are up in the air, things can change, things can just not happen, just like last year. So, I have pretty much been planning my 2025 readings since like September, October-ish. So I've always had these kind of like goals and like some things I've been wanting to change, maybe things to just keep track of for several weeks now, a couple months. A part of me was thinking like, am I really thinking so much in the future, or is this just anxiety? And I think it might be anxiety because like I really don't know how 2025 is gonna look. So while I am talking about all my goals, some intentions, some habits, and even some channel changes and stuff, things I do want to change, and not just the way my content, but just like how my channel runs even, just know that this is up in the air and it's not really set in stone. These are definitely I definitely feel strongly convicted of certain things for sure, but I can't really say, oh, this is for sure gonna happen, because at least not for everything, because I don't know, I can't really control how things are going to look like in 2025. Especially since things a lot, just, you know, the future is just uncertain for me. But we shall just get right into it. Let's just see what things go. We'll look back in this in a year and see if I even managed to do half the things I say. Anyways, let's just start with like the goals itself. I don't even have many goals this year. I mean, for 2025. I really don't. The idea for me for 2025 is to really prioritize my physical TBR. So my goal for next year is to read about half of my physical TBR. Anything that's been unread anyways. Whether I've not picked it up at all, or I even DNF'd it and said, so you know, come back to it later, I do want to just get through half of those books. Because as of right now, my physical TBR is about 80-ish books physically. More than half the books I already own, I have already read. So this is more like a 60-40%-ish kind of range. But yeah, there is about 80-ish books that I have not read that I still want to read. And I'm going to have to read about half of that. So that's like 40-something, 40 to 45-ish books for my physical TBR. That's the goal. And also another reading goal is just to read more translated works, because this year I have been trying to read books that are translated, but for some reason I'm not able to really finish them. Maybe because like I just didn't particularly like the story and how it's translated for most of the translated works I try to read. And there's other ones I'm like, you know, I do like this, but I'm not in the mood for it. So in 2025, I do hope to just push myself just to read a little bit more translated works, because I know there's a lot of great books out there that are translated and I want to read them too. But for some reason, they're just not sticking with me as much. So my goal is for sure to just read more of that. And then also to prioritize reading completed series. Because for some reason, I've been finding out about books, especially because I read fantasy and sci-fi. Sometimes I read a book, and then I end up finding out that it's the first book in a series. And you're just like, well, fuck me then. I did not plan to start a whole ass new series. But we're here. So when it comes with books that are part of a series, I do want to prioritize the ones that are completed, or at least to be caught up with the books that I've already read the first book in a series of. So I will get through that though in my series TBR when we get to that section in this video. That there are series that I already do own the first book of, maybe even the entire series of even, that I do want to prioritize, and even ones that are like, I do not own the first book of, but maybe I have read the first book, I just want to continue on with that. So I just really want to focus on like reading series. I've definitely been reading a lot more standalones this year, but I do want to read through completed series. So we shall see how that goes. But that's it for goals though. Like I don't have much actual goals because I'm not trying to have such a big goal at all. And even as far as like the number of books, I don't have that goal either, because for 2024, I didn't even have one. I did end up making just a small goal, then just increasing the number as time goes on. And I think I'm going to do that even for 2025 as well. Speaking of which, we should actually talk about some reading habits I do want to change. First up, I do want to limit my ARC requests, because I definitely have noticed that the more I request books, because I didn't realize that as I've been requested and then improving the books, I've also been consistently reviewing them. I post my reviews on NetGalley and on my Instagram account. I've also have been able to be improve of way more arcs than I thought I would. And especially with the fact that I've also been a Macmillan audio influencer, which I do hope I can be an influencer again next year, we shall see. But just seeing how I've been approved of a lot more arcs and even advanced listening copies, I need to slow down my request. I need to slow down the request because now I've been behind. Even like right now, I do have a few arcs that I'm currently reading, but there's also a couple I haven't even started reading. And then now I've been approved of a few arcs for 2025, and my goal for even December was to actually catch up on all my arcs for 2024, so I didn't have anything carried over to 2025. And I know this is a thing that some people who do review arcs and stuff, they do have arcs from like previous years they haven't gone into, but I didn't want to be one of those people who had arcs from like previous years that they didn't get to or haven't reviewed yet. But so far, it looks like I might end up being one of those people. But I'm not gonna have it so many, so in 2025 I will have to slow it down. So I won't, some of my brain, I'm gonna try to not request an arc unless I have maybe 2, maybe 3 arcs I haven't read and reviewed yet, so that it won't be, that way I won't feel like I'm so behind. And even if I request, I'm definitely gonna limit how many books I'm gonna request at a time, maybe 1 or 2 at a time, and then just read almost all the books, maybe all arcs, before I request even more, because I don't want to be behind on like arc reviewing, because I do know that that's a privilege to be able to even access books ahead of in advance. So I do, and I also want to make sure that I'm able to take time to focus on those books and not ending up DNFing them. Even though a lot of times though I do end up DNFing the books because they're just not as good anyway. So it is what it is, or I'm not the right reader. And speaking with limiting the arcs, I will try to limit myself on library holds as well. It's more so on the physical library holds so that I can prioritize my physical TBR. Like I'm trying to lower some obligation kind of reads, like maybe library holds or arcs and stuff, so I can really focus on the books I already own. The only time though I do think I still will be placed on holds though are like new releases, because I still like to keep on track of that, especially if I am limiting my arc requests. I still want to be able to read those books, so I won't put too much of a cap on as far as like new releases, because I do know it takes a long while for my library to even get the copies on order and to be able to distribute them anyway. So I still want to be able to like place holds on those new releases. But as far as like backlisted books, unless it's for like a buddy read, a recommendation thing, a reading challenge, I don't want to be placing too many holds, physical library holds anyways. The digital stuff, it'd be a little bit different. And as far as another reading habit, I do want to push myself to read more essay collections, because I don't know, I find myself a little bit more inclined to read essay collections than like any other type of nonfiction. Like I'm not super interested in memoirs. I haven't read much of like biography or even history, but essay collections have been the kind of nonfiction that like I find myself to be way more interested in and like a consistent basis than like any other form of nonfiction. So a way for me to get more into nonfiction, I think I need to try to push myself to read more essay collections. But anyways, let's actually talk about my series TBR. So I think I have like 8 series that I do want to prioritize, or at least try to read in 2025. I have at least made progress in at least a little bit, and I think I will be able to read them, but we shall see though. So first up is the Igbo trilogy by Chinua Achebe. I know it says the African trilogy. It is Igbo trilogy, y'all. Don't get that twisted. Now this is a bind up of the entire trilogy. So it does consist of Things Fall Apart, Arrow of God, and No Longer Ease. I've already read the Things Fall Apart in like high school, so I do want to do a reread of Things Fall Apart, and then I read the next 2 books in that series, and it is already in this bind up here, and I already made some tabs on top of here as far as where those parts are, like which is Things Fall Apart, and any other books. So yes, I do really look forward to reading this one, because I did love reading Chinua Achebe's Things Fall Apart when I did read it in high school. And of course, we have The Grace of Kings by Ken Liu again. We have the Dandelion Dynasty and the series TBR again. I don't know if this is gonna happen, y'all. I really don't even know. I don't know if I should borrow the audiobooks. I heard mixed things about the audiobook, so I don't know. And also, it's gonna be hard actually to even borrow the audiobook because there's not a lot of copies of it. So we shall see about the audiobook situation for this series, but I do want to at least try to read this series. We can at least attempt. I think I'll like it, but I don't even know. We shall see. If you see this in my 2026 series TBR, just don't tell me nothing. Please don't. Please don't, because I'm already gonna be side-eyeing myself, okay? I'll give myself the side eye. You don't gonna give me that. Next up, I do have a memory called Empire by Arkady Martin. This is the first book in the Texiclinian. I don't know if I have pronounced that series title correctly, but it's a duology. This is the first book in duology. I do not own A Desolation Called Peace, which is the sequel, but I do own the first book, and I've heard really good things about this one. I do know it's a little bit of a heady kind of sci-fi space opera kind of series, but this is one though that I think that I will like, and I have found myself to be enjoying space operas, and I haven't read a space opera in a little long minute, so I think this is gonna be the move. Next up, we have Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse. This is the first book in the Between Earth and Sky trilogy, which is finally complete. So ever since the series completed, I was like, okay, cool. We can now check out Black Sun, because I did not want to start reading the series, and I had no idea where the series was going, okay? So we're gonna start with something like Black Sun. And I don't know, I've been wanting to read something by Rebecca Roanhorse for a while now, so I'm very glad that now that the series is complete, I can actually start reading Black Sun and then read more of her writing. So yeah. And then next up, I do have The Atlas 6 by Olivia Blake. This is the first book in the Atlas trilogy that is now completed as well, with the Atlas Paradox and the Atlas Complex. Now, I am hesitant to put this entire series even on my TBR, because I don't know if I'm actually going to enjoy this series as much. Because more than 2 years ago now, actually, I did read the Atlas 6 and I was pretty disappointed with it. I do think that I came in with the wrong expectations though, as far as in writing, story, characters, plot, and the fact that I had no idea this was a first book in a series, because this book was originally self-published and I had no idea this was gonna be a first book in a series, and that was not helpful to me. So now, more than 2 years later, I think I'm gonna come in with the right expectations. And also, I have read Olivia Blake's other works now. I've read One for My Enemy, Masters of Death, Alone Through the Ether. Like, I've read Olivia Blake's other books at this point. So, I think now that I'm used to Olivia Blake's writing and I have better expectations on the Atlas 6, I think I'm gonna have a better time with this series. It's not gonna be a high priority of a series, because I will be just rereading the first book, because I don't even remember what even happened in this book. I just remember being very disappointed. I remember the disappointing parts, but that's pretty much it. I don't really remember much else about it. So this will be a reread, and I do own the Atlas Paradox, so I do own the second book. So we shall see how I feel about the Atlas 6 when I finish my reread, and then we'll see about the Atlas Paradox. Because I've heard definitely some mixed things about the Atlas Paradox, and I've heard even very little things about the Atlas Complex, because not a lot of people even continue on with this series. So I won't be surprised if I end up just unhauling this entire series, but we shall see. It's up in the air. Next up, I have The Jasmine Throne by Tasha Siri. This is the first book in the Burning Kingdoms trilogy. So we have the first book, The Jasmine Throne. The second book is The Only Under Sword, which I do own. And then the third and final book just came out like last month, The Lotus Empire. So I am reading The Jasmine Throne with Nat from Something Bookish This Way Comes. We're doing a butter read of the first book, and depending on how things go, we might even end up butter reading the other two books. And so far, I am indeed enjoying my time with The Jasmine Throne, because I did try to read it earlier this year, and I did DNF it when I was nearly halfway through, but now I'm a little bit more than a third of the way through and trying to get back into this story. And I'm definitely having a better time with it this time than I did the first time. So I do think that this is going to be a series that I actually will manage to complete in 2025. So yeah, already I'm making progress on this series TBR with this series in particular. So definitely making some good progress, and I do hope that I will enjoy this series. Next up is An Ember in the Ashes by Sabat Tahir. This is the first book in the Ember in the Ashes quartet. And yeah, I've heard really good things about this quartet, and actually I was just interested in even trying this quartet out because of Air actually coming out, that it came out in like October. And since, especially since Air is set in the same world as the quartet, and if you don't read the quartet, Air does spoil what happens in this quartet. And I didn't want to read Air first, even though it was going to be duology. I didn't want to read that spin-off duology before reading this quartet, because I heard really good things about it, and also they did all the covers too. So I was like, let me give this series a shot here. I've heard great things, and I think this is gonna be a young adult fantasy series that's gonna really work for me. And then last, but certainly not least, I do have Strange the Dreamer duology by Laini Taylor. I have not read a single book by Laini Taylor before, but I have heard that Laini Taylor's writing is similar to like Erin Morgenstern. And Erin Morgenstern's books, I mean, I've only really loved the Starless Sea, not so much the Night Circus, but I am curious about this Strange the Dreamer. because it has been compared to the Starless Seas. So I think this is gonna be a series I'm gonna enjoy more. This is young adult fantasy, and I don't know. I'm hoping I'll like it. I do own both of the books. It will be nice to read the first book and read the second book and then be done, and then like that's it for like, so that I can, you know, help off with taking things off my physical TBR. But I don't know if I'm end up going to love this or not. I don't know if I'm gonna love the writing or even the story or the characters. So we shall see though. I just heard like great things about it. I mean, I know this is a booktube darling. I know a lot of people have loved this series, so, and Laini Taylor's writing as a whole. But we shall see though. I'm curious to see what I'm gonna think about The Strange the Dreamer. Anyways, these 8 books, well, besides this like bind up here, these are the series that I do hope to get through in 2025. I do expect myself to probably get through like, I think 4, maybe even 5 of these series. Yeah, I think I'll be able to finish 5 of these and then probably won't even start the Deadline Dynasty. Let's just be for real. But hey, I could be wrong about something. I would love to be wrong about the Deadline Dynasty, that I actually will end up starting that series, but no promises to myself. All right, now next up, we should talk about the reading challenges that I plan to do in 2025 as well. So I do have a lot of reading challenges. I mean, reading challenges I've already participated in this year, like Blackathon, I do see myself participating in. Suki's Readathon will also have, Suki's Readathon will happen again, and I think in a February for Mama's Bow Ties' birthday. So Blackathon, Suki's Readathon will be mixed in there for February. I do want to participate for sure in Magical Readathons. I had a lot of fun in September, so April and September 2025 do expect me to be participating in Magical Readathon, Asian Readathon for May, Terror Readathon for July, Full Moon Readathon for the first 2 weeks of August, Black Halloween for October, and then Clear Shit Readathon, which I didn't get a really chance to really start officially this year, but I do hope to be able to focus on that more for like next November and December, because I really do want to, because that's gonna be the perfect readathon for me to get through my physical TBR, like for sure. That's the point. So we'll see about doing all those reading challenges though, because it will depend on like, since again I am trying to focus more so on my physical TBR. These challenges are going to be a lot more challenging to do because I'm trying to focus on my physical TBR and then less so borrowing books. But we shall see. I might still end up borrowing a lot of books anyways, which is fine. You know, that's great. But again, trying to read down the physical stuff. But we shall see, though. I do see myself participating in a lot of these readathons. If I end up not able to participate in them fully, it is what it is. Maybe the life stuff. Again, the books, my physical TBR. But I do see myself doing, at least attempting all of these reading challenges. Also, I still am working on the Reddit Fantasy Book Bingo for 2024 and 2025. I've actually am almost done with this bingo. I actually have I have several bingos on the board, but I do have 2 spaces left, and I do think I'll be able to do that before April 1st, 2025, before we start a whole new bingo. Which I won't be surprised actually if I end up even doing the 2025-2026 bingo whenever that comes out. So looking forward to doing that. Buzzwordathon. I do plan on doing Buzzwordathon for 2025 as well whenever we get to know the stuff for that one. 2024 progress is not the greatest this year. 2023 was more successful this year, and not so much, but I am still optimistic though for 2025. And then 6 Press by 6 Friends. This year was definitely not that great, unfortunately, as far as going through the recommendations. I only read 1 book and I DNF'd another book, and I haven't even tried to read the other 4. But for next year, though, I definitely am feeling a lot more optimistic as far as my chances of actually going through all 6 of the books. I will have a graphic right here as far as like the recommendations, and I'm actually pretty confident that I'll be able to get through all 6 of those books. All right, and now in this last section right here, we're going to talk about some channel changes, but also some resolutions, because I can always say that, you know, I'm going to do some certain changes, and then there's things I want to be able to do, but we shall see how that really goes. You know what I mean? I do have a few changes for the channel. First up, I think I will be making writing sprints a little bit more of a regular thing. Like you already know, if any of y'all were watching my videos and watch my reading sprints, you already know I do host my reading productivity sprints quite regularly, like twice a month. Ideally, anyways, at least for sure once a month, and if it's a readathon, depending, it'd be even more than twice a month. But I do want to make writing sprints a little bit more of a regularity, because I do like the idea of having time to just write, whether that is you're writing a story, maybe you're working on a homework assignment, maybe you're essay writing or something, or you're just journaling. And I actually really like having writing sprints to be just contained, to be like kind of like writing. Again, you don't have to write during the writing sprints. If you're not writing, that's fine. You can use it as a chance to read or be productive or whatever. But I do like the idea though of just having like just creating a space where I can just be able to focus on writing or journaling or something. Another change is for me to, at least I do see myself doing this more often actually in 2025 because of the fact that I still have a few arcs, 2024 arcs that I do want to get through. I do want to make more dedicated arc content, I guess. Like I want to make like a dedicated reading vlog or maybe like a book review for these arcs so that it can like, because like, I don't know, I found myself that reading like just one book for just one video, I think that kind of singularity focus just helps me to read these arcs in a little bit more of a timely manner, kind of like I did with like Evocation. When I was like in a reading vlog, I managed to read it way faster than I thought I actually would for some reason. I don't know why, but that's just how my brain worked. So depending on what the arc is, it will be a reading vlog or a book review. And that way I can also make more book reviews on this channel because I mean, I do love filming rappos, but I also want to go back to my initial idea, like when I first started this channel, like making book reviews. And I haven't been making many book reviews, honestly, since I started. So I do want to go back to, you know, making book reviews. I figured though, why not do that for like arcs and stuff, especially for like arcs that I know a lot of people would be interested in and that even I'm still interested in. So we shall see how that really goes. And then another change for sure is to fluctuate my wrap-up video frequencies. Like if any of y'all were here like over this summer, I didn't have any monthly wrap-up videos. Like there was no June, July, or August monthly wrap-up video. I just did a whole summer wrap-up video because that summer I knew it was gonna be pretty busy and I didn't want to limit myself with having to film a monthly wrap-up because I wanted to do like a couple video projects or stuff, and I was doing readathons and I knew I was gonna be traveling and stuff, so I didn't want to be holding myself to like a particular wrap-up video by the end of the month or the start of another month because I was so busy and stuff. So I think that's something I will also be trying to do next year, is trying to do a little more video project-like content. Maybe like a little bit, not so often though, because that's not gonna be a thing I wanna do all the time, but every now and then I might have to switch up the frequency of how often I have a wrap-up video. So you might not get a wrap-up video every single month. But I think that's it as far as like some pretty solid changes for sure. And now let's get into some resolutions as far as the kind of content I wanna make, because I never made such content before and I don't know if that's how it's gonna go over in this channel, so I don't know how often I'm gonna do it, but we'll still see. So resolution number one, I want to create writing vlogs. I've recently been interested in watching writing vlogs, so now I even want to film them, hence why I also want to make writing sprints a little bit of a regular thing as well, because I want to get a little bit more into writing. A little bit. Maybe, I don't know if I'm going to be writing like a novel or anything, or a short story to be published or anything, but I want to get back in the habit of just writing for myself. Next up, another resolution is to create quarterly reset vlogs. I have found myself to be quite interested in like watching other people's monthly resets, and I kind of want to try that myself. And then my last resolution is actually a pretty big one, because it is something that is actually, I really am hoping I can do for this channel, is actually to revamp it actually. Like I've been on BookTube for like nearly 2.5 years now, and I've been feeling this weird sense, I've been feeling this sense of like my channel needs a change. Like I do want to change actually a lot of things, but not like a lot of things, but just like the way my channel appears, and even just my, I don't know, like I kind of want to change the way I present myself, I guess, on the internet. So while there's gonna be a channel change, it will most likely be changing for my Instagram as well, but we shall see. So when I mean by a revamp, I mean I want to get a whole new profile picture, which like, yes, but I want my profile picture to be very different actually than my previous profile pictures. I want a new channel banner as well. I'm trying to see if we can do something a little bit different, but for sure there was a channel name. I've been wanting to change the name of my channel for like a while now. It's just my problem though is finding a name that really is gonna stick, that I don't feel like I gotta change it again. So I don't know when this is gonna happen. I can't promise be like, oh no, January 1st, here comes a whole new channel, new me. It's not gonna happen, because I really do want to commission I want to commission like art for my channel, like the banner and my profile picture for that. And I want my channel name to match that, so I'm trying to brainstorm some things. But yeah, I've been wanting to do some changes like this, not just like the way it looks, but just like maybe not quite like the feeling, because I do want that feeling to be the same, but like just a slightly different name. Also a way of how I go about my content as well, the frequency maybe of some videos. I don't know, I'm trying to do some changes, and I'm not totally sure how those changes are gonna go, honestly, but I do want to just revamp my entire channel, basically. I don't know necessarily how that's gonna look like. I'm still in the planning stages about all of that, and again, I want to commission someone to do my profile picture. That's also gonna be my Instagram, because my Instagram handle is gonna change, because I do want my channel name and my Instagram handle and even other social media handles like my story graph to match. That way when y'all look me up, y'all know who it is. So I am planning on doing some changes there for sure. So yeah, that would be the goal. That's definitely something I really, really want to do, and I don't know when that's gonna happen. I do hope it happens though in 2025. I don't want it to be a 2026 thing. So it is gonna be a big thing for me, is to figure out a way to like revamp this channel, like making different content, maybe changing the kind of content I will be posting and how often I post and stuff like that, because I want to make the content that I know I'm going to be on this platform for a good long minute. You know, I mean, again, I've only been here for 2.5 years, which for some people is a long time, for other people is not as long. There's definitely been YouTubers who've been on this platform for longer than me, but I've always been feeling like I need to make changes, otherwise I don't think I'm gonna be on this platform for very long. So I am trying to see how, like, you know, making writing sprints, making writing vlogs, reset vlogs, making more book reviews and stuff like that, how just trying to make different kind of content and just see what sticks. Maybe I do these changes and none of it really works. Maybe I don't like it, or maybe it doesn't do well and I'm just like, okay, well, maybe not. I don't know, but I do know that I want to change the way that I go about my booktube content, and hopefully, fingers crossed, it goes well for me, because I want to be here on this platform for a long minute. I really like being in this community, so I just gotta work around like how I want to go about talking about books. So yeah, I hope y'all are still here and along for the ride though. I know a lot of y'all new, but for the ones who've been here since the very beginning, since I started this channel, like that first year, thank you though for being here. And thanks for even the people who are just been here, maybe you just subscribed. Like, thank you, honestly. But anyways, that is it, y'all. That's actually it as far as planning my reading and channel as well for 2025. So thank you all if you made it this far into the video. Like it if you like it. Comment down below y'all's thoughts. Not just even just my goals, but like, do y'all have reading goals at all? And if also y'all are content creators, whether in YouTube or you have Bookstagram or a book talk or whatever at all, like, do y'all have any changes for like the way y'all make content, whether it's a video, a reel, a post, or whatever? I'm curious if y'all feel like you need to revitalize. I'm just wondering, am I the only one who feels like revamping, revitalizing their content? Is it just me? I'm curious. I want to know. And if not, if you're not a content creator or anything, then that's fine. Just let me know, what are y'all's goals for 2025. It can be a reading goal, maybe it's a personal goal that you feel comfortable sharing, what have you. Let me know in the comments down below. And if you're new here, this is your first video, this is your first video watching me, I mean, say hi, I guess, and maybe subscribe if you want to. And if you made it this far into the video, you're not really sure what to say, but you want to let me know you're here by leaving an emoji. I don't know, what emoji? Maybe we can have like the clinking of the champagne glass emoji, or like the champagne bottle popping emoji, or if you want anything non-alcoholic related, maybe just a stack of books for the books that I hope to get to, like my series TBR. One of those 3 emojis, I'll put on the screen here so y'all know what I'm talking about. Or maybe just any random emoji. It could be a heart emoji. I don't even care too much about the emoji. Just leave me an emoji to let me know you're here. And yeah, thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you all in my next video. Bye.